Welcome to Jason Bytes Back, episode number 28, the series in which I respond to or answer questions that people leave on my YouTube channel. I also do random stuff sometimes, and in today's video I'm going to be unboxing something that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm totally excited about. After this intro and ad. Plex is awesome and everything, but if you really want to squeeze the most features out of your Plex media server, you can get a Plex Pass. Now, while there are many benefits to having a Plex Pass versus a free user account, my favorite one is getting early access to new features that Plex has not yet released to the general public. So if you're like me and you want to try out those new features, check out the description down below. Down there you can either purchase a Plex Pass for yourself or a friend, and hey, if you don't have a free account, use my link as well. It helps me out. So check out the description down below to get your Plex Pass today. Think you know what it is? Oh yeah. 20 more terabytes of space. I can't wait to shuck these. I actually got both of these for $160 each, and it was on sale on Amazon and on Best Buy. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, usually when these sales pop up, I have some alerts set for, like 8 terabytes and 10 terabyte Western Digital shuckable drives like this. I do post that to Twitter as like a little link. So this is an awesome sale. I know some people run out and buy 3 or 4 of them. Amazon would only let me order 2, which is probably a good. Let's put those right there. Yeah. I don't have a ton of pre-question news except for I can say that the quest to rebuild Zeus, aka probably going to be called Loki, is on its way. So more details on that in the future. There's a lot of unknowns. It's definitely going to be a slow build for me just to spread the cost around a little bit and make sure that I'm getting all the right parts that I really want for a server that should last for a very, very long time. But it is in the works and it is officially going to happen. After I made that video about how much Zeus sucks, I was just like, man, I really need to rebuild this server. Also, thanks to everybody who made jokes about the Raspberry Pi outperforming Zeus. I hate you. Okay, so to jump right in, question number 1 from Jason Burns. He says, what about Windows Remote Desktop? I think he was actually talking about my troubles that I was having with TeamViewer and getting, flagged for commercial use and just kind of irritated about the whole situation. And Windows Remote Desktop is a good tool. It has a lot of flaws that I personally don't like. For example, the whole one user at a time thing. You log in, it locks the screen. When you log out, it locks the screen. When you log in, it actually does resize the resolution. So if there's a mismatch in the monitors that you're using, it can really mess up the resolution. And that whole screen resolution thing is actually messed with desktop icons for me before. It'll shrink it and then it'll mess up all the icons, and then when it fixes it, it just doesn't put the icons back. And I don't know, it's a good tool if you're in a pinch, but for really it's just not nearly the same as what TeamViewer is. Although I can say I have been experimenting with a software called AnyDesk, and so far it's not nearly as easy as TeamViewer is, but it seems like a decent contender for at least a few of my computers. Next question is from Dennis. Question about the Plex transcoder files. If the Docker container updates, am I correct these changes are lost? If so, is there a way to persist them through the updates? Now what Dennis is talking about is I made a video that outlined how to make your Linux Plex installation use hardware accelerated transcoding for encoding and decoding, because by default it doesn't have the ability to decode the media file in Linux. And Dennis, you are right. Every time it updates, you will have to reapply those changes that I outlined in that video. However, I do remember seeing somebody wrote a script that addresses this to where every time it updates, it automatically makes the changes necessary. So it does kind of fix that and automate that a little bit. I personally haven't set that up, but I do know that is a thing. Might be something you want to search on the forums for. And also with Plex's new transcoder, they're including a lot of this encoding and decoding built into the Linux hardware acceleration. So if this new transcoder goes as good as it should and it gets released to the public or whatever, then hopefully this won't even be a needed thing anymore. Now, I'm not really sure when that transcoder is going to be finished out of its beta stage and just, pushed out with a normal update. But if you want to go to the forums, again, they have a forums only preview release of that transcoder. So you could just download and install that and maybe it would work for you without needing to do anything else. Next question is from Kevin, 3900X or a Threadripper. this is on my server sucks video. And honestly, the new Threadripper 3000 looks like that one might be a pretty decent contender. I mean, sure, everybody wants a top of the line epic server chip, but those things are like $3,000 just for the CPU. So that's just not possible. But depending on how much the Threadripper is, I'm kind of seriously considering that. The 3900X is definitely an amazing chip and it would definitely do really well in a server, but I just want something a little bit more. No reason, I just want something more. So it's very possibly a Threadripper, just kind of depending on when they come out, how much they are, and how good they really are. Next question is from Sean. Why not continue to run Zeus as a file appliance and buy a low power server case to run Plex off the remote file server over copper or fiber 10G? Now, actually, a lot of people said something very similar to this as far as just using Zeus as a storage server and then just having a different server do all the transcoding, which is definitely an option. Just not for me. Basically, I would much rather have a single system where the processor and the hard drives and everything are connected and all in one system. I'm not saying you can't set it up the other way or you're gonna have any drastic kind of performance hit if you do, but why have two systems running when you can have one running? If all goes well and I build this new server and it's super powerful and it holds all my hard drives, then I just don't really need Zeus powered up for anything unless I'm running some sort of a test or, doing something. For that matter, I might just sell Zeus. I don't really know. Just kind of depends. Although that would be a pain in the butt to ship. So yeah, I don't know. So short answer is I just want a big shiny server that has new hardware and holds everything and does everything all in one. I can do it that way. Just don't want to. Next question is from Jeff. Have you considered the Nvidia driver hack using the 1050 Ti unlocked? Yes, but also, no, not really. And there's a few reasons behind this. When I build the new server, I'm either gonna use the P2000 or maybe get something different, I don't know yet. But having a Quadro, having something that doesn't require modification is just nice. You don't have to worry about modifying and something persisting through an update or having to redo a patch or not working or figuring it out, anything like that. And really the 1050, although it's powerful, I mean, I think that's only like a 4 gig video card. So, if I have a P2000, it's already going to outperform that probably just by being unlocked, having more RAM. I think it really just comes down to, yes, it's definitely a possibility, but with a Quadro series and not having any kind of limitations, it's just, to me, it's not worth the hassle. But something like that is definitely great for somebody who actually has a card they're not using or they want to repurpose for hardware accelerated transcoding. Running the whole Nvidia patch unlock thing is great to just use your hardware that you already have rather than going out and spending money on something, specifically just for Plex. Next question is from John. Why does anyone need to push 29 streams on Plex? John, I think need is just such a strong word. You don't need a car that can do 160 miles an hour, but you want one. You don't need a server that can handle 29 streams at the same time, but it sure is nice. John, it's just an enthusiast thing. That's all I can say. Wanting things that are fast and shiny that can outdo anything you'd ever want it to do just because you can, that's just it. You don't need it, you just want it. I don't really need 20 more terabytes in my server, but I want it. Next question is from JP. Bit of advice, you can use the Unbalanced plugin to balance disks so you do not have some that are full and others are empty. Another plugin, server layout plugin, that blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just gonna address the first one because it's kind of funny. Now, the Unbalanced program in Unraid. I was actually on Discord talking to some people about this plugin and I was considering using it actually. And then I went to set it up and then I kind of got cold feet because I'm like, okay, what if I mess something up and it completely messes with all of my media files and really just have to do a lot of stuff to fix it. So I got nervous, scared, and ended up not doing it. And then the next day or a couple days later, somebody on Discord said that they ran the Unbalanced plugin and it messed up all of their permissions. So Plex didn't have access to any of it anymore. And yes, you can easily fix these permissions and ownerships of files if you know what you're doing, and I would be able to figure it out. It's just one of those things, like, I feel like I'm playing with fire and I'm really good at messing things up. So, I don't want to mess everything up because one of these days I will. Let's just say that. One of these days I'll man up and I will run Unbalanced, probably after the new server. Next question is from Youngblood. You have to pay to use the lake? Well, yeah, Youngblood, around here, there's quite a few lakes actually that takes a parking permit or day pass or something like that. Basically, it's just a cost for maintaining the lake. The park people go around and pick up trash that people throw on the ground because they're total jerks and they don't pick up after themselves. My biggest gripe is when people like change their baby's diapers on a boat and they just throw the diaper in the lake. I seriously just want to like throat punch those people. Like, what is the problem with you right now? But they maintain the campgrounds, they mow the grass, they pick up trash, do all kinds of stuff. So, you know, those day passes and everything helps pay for those people to do that. So yeah, you know, it's a thing. Next question is from Carl. Why do you need both encoding and decoding? So again, this is on that whole Nvidia walkthrough thing that I did with Linux as far as being able to decode the video file. You need it because, well, it offloads. Why do you want hardware accelerated transcoding in the first place? Because it's offloading, you know, the resources from your CPU to your graphics card. So, you know, having the encoding and the decoding is just more stress off of your CPU, allowing your CPU to do other things that maybe you want to use your server for. Or maybe you just want the lower power aspect of your graphics card to be able to crunch through a transcode a lot more efficiently than what a CPU could. I mean, you enable hardware acceleration for a reason. Why not get it to do the entire thing instead of just half the work? Next question is from EXCDN. Hey Jason, depending on the cost, would you consider replacing all those drives over time with solid state drives since the cost of them have come down and their size have also gotten bigger? Well, no. I mean, maybe sometime in like the very distant future, I might have a need for an all SSD array, but that would be for like a very specific thing, and it wouldn't be to replace my media server. I think that although the SSD prices have come down a lot and the sizes of them have came up a lot, they're just nowhere near spinning rust. I mean, you can get 10, 12, 14 terabyte, you know, hard drives right now, and it's, you know, $200, $300, $400. Whereas an SSD is like, what, 4 terabytes, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. But those are super expensive and they're big and they're fast and all that, but it's just, it's not comparable. If it comes to a point sometime down the line where the cost and the size are directly comparable or really, really close, then yeah, maybe. But for right now, that is just so far away that I don't personally see me doing something like that. Next question is from Kid Devious. That glowing cube is throwing me off. Is it level or is it just me? I don't know. Let's check. Oh, huh. So you're right, it's not level. It's actually sitting on it's sitting on the cable. So I don't know if it's because the plug-in, if it's not really designed to be plugged in, or if it's, hold on. Ta-da! Is that better? I think so. Can't say I never listen. Next question is from, oh, that's it. That's all she wrote. Well, as always, guys, massive shout out to all of my Patreon subscribers. You guys are awesome. And of course, your names are going to be listed at the end of this video. So as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate you supporting me. If anyone has any questions or comments that they want to have the highest possibility of being in next month's Jason Bytes Back, make sure to post them in the comments down below. As always, like and subscribe and have yourself a great day. You know, it's September. That means we're 1 month away from Halloween month. I love Halloween month. You know, I ride around for at least a couple weeks, give or take. This is a thing that I did last year anyways. I had that little skeleton you can get from Walmart. Yeah, I ride around with that in the passenger seat. I get a few looks, had a couple people take pictures. It was funny. But yeah, I can't wait to do that. I'm weird. I know, super weird. Whew, man, it always smells like shoes. New shoes. Oh, you guys might be happy to know that I'm going to make a video testing some stuff out. Testing some stuff out of me basically doing the right thing finally with these new hard drives and like before shucking them. So, you know, I'm gonna do things right because I'm not super eager, like desperate to get this hard drive in my server right now. So I'm gonna take my time. As some of you pointed out, when I shucked the last hard drive and stuck it in Zeus, I absolutely did no testing, no pre-clearing, nothing. I just YOLO'd the crap out of that hard drive. It's working for me. Everything's great, but you know, that is a really bad practice. So definitely comes down to do as I say, not as I do. You know what I really want? I want Western Digital to sponsor me a freaking few hundred terabytes. You know? I just need to tweet Western Digital like every day, like, hey, I'm building a new server. You got any of those juicy hard drives? Although if I had to guess, I don't know if Western Digital likes me making, you know, mother shucking videos. They probably don't.